What if a single act of forgotten chocolate, a gentle word from a humble shopkeeper, could ripple through decades to transform millions of lives and inspire a continent? What if the most profound spiritual journeys don't begin with grand revelations, but with the quiet, consistent kindness of an ordinary man? Today we unravel an extraordinary story that began in the simple corridors of an apartment complex in France and blossomed into a spiritual awakening felt across continents, a testament to the timeless power of compassion and sincere guidance. 50 years ago, in a quaint corner of France, life moved at a different pace. Neighborhoods were woven together by daily routines, shared glances, and the small businesses that anchored communities. It was in one such unassuming setting, a modest grocery store nestled within an apartment complex, that our story quietly began. Here, surrounded by the everyday hum of life, resided an elderly Turkish man named Ibrahim, a devout Muslim who, at the age of 50, dedicated his days to serving his local community. His shop was more than just a place to buy necessities. It was a silent stage where an unforeseen drama of faith, kindness, and destiny would unfold. Among the residents of that complex lived a Jewish family, and with them a lively little boy named Jad. At merely 7 years old, Jad was a whirlwind of curiosity, brimming with a touch of youthful mischief. His daily visits to Ibrahim's shop for household errands were a consistent ritual, yet beneath his innocent requests lay a secret, playful habit. Each day, as he prepared to leave, Jad would stealthily pocket a piece of chocolate from the counter, convinced that Ibrahim, seemingly preoccupied, would never notice his tiny act of thievery. For young Jad, this routine had become a harmless game, a small indulgence he believed he enjoyed without consequence, utterly hidden from the kindly shopkeeper's watchful eyes. But fate, as it often does, had a far grander plan. On one seemingly ordinary afternoon, as young Jad, chocolate pilfered, prepared to slip out of Ibrahim's store, something unusual happened. Just as he reached the threshold, Ibrahim's gentle voice softly called his name. "Jad," he said, his tone imbued with a knowing warmth. "You forgot your chocolate today." In that instant, time seemed to stand still for the mischievous boy. His heart pounded in his chest as the shocking realization hit him. The kind man had known all along about his habitual misdeed. A wave of profound shock and deep embarrassment washed over him. He braced himself, certain Ibrahim would report him to his parents for stealing. Hastily, his voice trembling with a mixture of guilt and relief, Jad blurted out an apology, his cheeks flushing crimson. But Ibrahim, ever calm and compassionate, simply smiled. "It's all right, my child," he replied, his words neither reprimanding nor harsh. "Promise me that from now on you will not take anything without asking. And whenever you're about to leave this place, take a piece of chocolate. It is yours." These were not mere words. They were a profound act of gentle kindness, imbued with a wisdom that would indelibly shape the destiny of this young boy. In that quiet moment of unexpected confrontation, a deep and enduring bond was forged. A bond that would span years and eventually transform not only Jad's life, but the lives of countless others. In the years that followed, the relationship between Ibrahim and Jad blossomed into something far more profound than a simple shopkeeper-customer connection. Ibrahim, a devout Muslim of humble means, became an unexpected father figure and trusted friend to Jad. The young boy, navigating the complex currents of adolescence and early adulthood, found unwavering solace in Ibrahim's gentle guidance. Whenever he encountered challenges or troubles, whether big or small, he would instinctively rush to the store seeking his wise counsel. Ibrahim had a unique and deeply personal method of helping Jad navigate his problems. After patiently listening to Jad's worries, Ibrahim would reach into a small, well-worn drawer. From it, he would retrieve an old familiar book, its cover soft with age. Handing it over to Jad, he would instruct the boy to open it at random. Then, with calm authority and a serene expression, Ibrahim would read aloud 2 pages from the mysterious book, carefully closing it once he finished, and then proceed to explain the profound wisdom contained within those lines to young Jad. To Jad, these sessions were nothing short of miraculous. Every reading seemed perfectly tailored to the situation at hand, offering not just generic advice, but a clear pathway out of his troubles. Despite his limited formal education, Ibrahim's gentle demeanor and unassuming character exuded a wisdom far beyond his years. His approach was elegantly simple: guide without force, nurture without judgment, and always speak with profound kindness. Over the course of many years, this routine became a cherished ritual, a sacred lifeline for Jad during his times of uncertainty, shaping his perspective and strengthening his spirit. Time, relentless in its march, moved on. Jad blossomed into a strong, determined young man of 24, while Ibrahim, having embraced the wisdom of age, reached 67. Their bond, forged through years of shared moments and heartfelt conversations, remained unbreakable. Yet, as with all human lives, the inevitable passage of time brought change and loss. One day, Ibrahim quietly passed away. His death came as a profound shock to Jad, who had relied on him as his sole guide through life's myriad challenges. Before his departure, however, Ibrahim had taken one final, deeply meaningful step to secure his legacy. He had entrusted his children with a small wooden box, a container holding the very book he always used during his consultations with Jad. In his final wishes, Ibrahim instructed his children to present this box as a gift to Jad, the young man who had come to mean so much to him. Jad received the box with trembling hands and a heavy heart. As he gently opened it, vivid memories of his childhood and the countless moments spent in the humble grocery store flooded back, a tide of nostalgia and grief. Inside the box lay the old book, its pages yellowed with time, carrying within it the unspoken wisdom of a lifetime. This gift was more than just an object. It was Ibrahim's enduring presence, the embodiment of his guidance, a tangible link to the man who had shaped his soul. In the weeks following Ibrahim's passing, Jad found himself haunted by the echoes of his mentor's presence. Whenever he faced difficulties, he would instinctively reach for the box, gently open it, and revisit the familiar pages of the mysterious book, hoping to find solace as he once had. Yet, a disheartening realization soon emerged. The book was written entirely in Arabic, a language Jad did not understand. Determined to unlock the hidden wisdom that Ibrahim had once so generously shared, Jad sought the help of a trusted friend, a young man of Tunisian descent known for his fluency in Arabic. Following the precise ritual that had become so ingrained in his life, Jad handed the book to his friend and asked him to randomly open it to 2 pages, just as Ibrahim had done countless times in the past. The Tunisian friend carefully turned the pages, reading aloud and translating the verses into a language Jad could comprehend. As the words flowed, Jad listened intently, his heart pounding with anticipation. What he heard struck him like a bolt of lightning. The passages the friend read not only addressed the immediate problems that troubled him, but they also resonated with the deeper existential issues of his life, questions he had long wrestled with in silence. With wide eyes and a racing heart, Jad asked, almost in a whisper, "What is this book?" The friend looked at him with a gentle smile and replied, "This is the Quran, the holy book of Islam, the sacred word of Allah." The revelation was both startling and awe-inspiring. Jad, who had grown up within a Jewish household, found himself overwhelmingly drawn to the profound beauty and wisdom of the Quran. The answers that had eluded him for so long, the clarity he had sought in every other philosophy, now lay before him in the very words of the sacred text. Overwhelmed by this newfound clarity, he asked, his voice filled with a desperate hope, "How can I become a Muslim?" Without hesitation, his friend replied, "By reciting the Shahada, the declaration of faith, and by following the teachings and commandments of Islam." In that transformative moment, with no second thought or lingering doubt, Jad recited the Shahada. His heart opened, and he embraced Islam with every fiber of his being. No longer the mischievous child who had once pilfered chocolate from a humble shop, he now stood reborn as a devout Muslim, ready to dedicate his life to the path of righteousness. In honor of the Quran, the source of solace and wisdom that had forever changed his destiny, Jad adopted a new name, Jada al-Qurani. This name was not merely a label, it was a symbol of his rebirth and his eternal gratitude for the divine guidance that had led him to Islam. Embracing his new faith with fervor, Jada immersed himself in the rigorous study of the Quran, determined to understand every nuance of its profound teachings. He diligently learned Arabic, delved into Islamic jurisprudence, and eagerly sought the company of learned scholars. With each passing day, his conviction grew stronger and he became increasingly passionate about sharing the transformative power of Islam with others. His zeal for dawah, the call to Islam, soon took him far beyond the familiar streets of his childhood neighborhood in France. Jada embarked on a mission that would span continents and decades. He began preaching throughout Europe, reaching out to Jews and Christians alike, inviting them to discover the profound beauty of Islam. His gentle demeanor, combined with the undeniable sincerity of his words, led to the conversion of approximately 6,000 people who had once followed other faiths. Yet fate, in its boundless wisdom, had even grander plans for Jada. One day, as he was deeply absorbed in reading his cherished copy of the Quran, the very same one gifted to him by Ibrahim, he noticed something that would profoundly redirect the course of his mission. Tucked discreetly between the familiar pages lay a detailed illustration, a map of the world. His eyes were immediately drawn to the African continent. There, inscribed near the image of Africa, was Ibrahim's signature, accompanied by a verse written in flowing script, "Call to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction." Quran, Surah An-Nahl, verse 125. Jada felt his heart swell with emotion. He was convinced that this was Ibrahim's final unspoken message, a divine commission, urging him to extend his dawah to the vast and diverse people of Africa. Embracing this profound call, Jada resolved to leave Europe and journey to Africa, a continent where he sensed his message was urgently needed and would resonate deeply. With unyielding determination, Jada set forth for Africa. His journey took him to countries such as Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan, regions where Christianity held sway over the majority of the population. Undeterred by cultural or linguistic barriers, he began his mission, preaching with the same gentle wisdom that Ibrahim had once shown him. In every village and town, Jada spoke of the Quran's timeless truths, inviting people to embrace the beauty of Islam through peaceful dialogue and compassionate interaction. His message was clear. The path to salvation lay not in confrontation, but in the transformative power of wisdom and good instruction. Through tireless efforts, Jada's influence spread far and wide. One of his most remarkable achievements was among the Zulu people, a proud community with deep-rooted traditions. In what seemed almost miraculous, Jada's dawah resonated so profoundly that over 6 million Zulus embraced Islam. And this conversion was not limited to the Zulus alone. His message reached many other tribes and communities across the region, transforming countless lives. For 30 long years, Jada dedicated himself wholeheartedly to the cause of dawah in Africa. He faced hardships, personal sacrifices, and even physical illness, yet his resolve never wavered. Every word he spoke, every lesson he imparted was imbued with the spirit of the Quran and the gentle guidance of his beloved mentor Ibrahim. In the year 2003, at the tender age of 45, Jada al-Qurani passed away. He left behind a monumental legacy of faith, an indelible mark on the hearts of millions, and a story of transformation that would be recounted for generations to come. But the story of Jada did not end with his passing. It took an unexpected, profound turn with the transformation of his own mother, a devout and educated Jewish woman who had long struggled to keep her son within the bounds of her faith. For 30 years, she had used every intellectual argument and every resource at her disposal to bring Jad back to Judaism. Yet despite her fervent efforts, Jad's heart had been irrevocably touched by Islam. In a twist that underscored the mysterious workings of divine wisdom, Jada's mother eventually found herself on a spiritual journey of her own. 2 years after her son's death, at the age of 70, she embraced Islam. In her later reflection, she confessed, "I spent 30 long years trying to return my son to Judaism, employing every piece of knowledge and every persuasive argument I possessed. Yet it was the kindness of an uneducated, elderly Turkish man named Ibrahim, who never forced his beliefs but lived them, that finally opened my eyes. I realized then that Islam is the true path." Her conversion was not only a deeply personal victory, but also a powerful testament to the enduring power of sincere, heartfelt dawah, a message that transcends education, background, and prejudice. The remarkable journey of Jada al-Qurani and the quiet wisdom of Ibrahim offer a profound lesson for all of us. Why did Jad, a Jewish child raised in a devout household, ultimately choose to embrace Islam? Jada himself later explained that it was not through aggressive preaching or heated debates. For 17 years, Ibrahim had never once called him a disbeliever or reminded him of his Jewish identity. Ibrahim never even uttered the words, "Become a Muslim." Instead, he guided Jad simply by embodying the principles of the Quran through his actions and his gentle character. This story carries a timeless lesson for all who engage in dawah, or indeed for anyone seeking to convey truth. It is not the forceful imposition of beliefs, but the quiet power of good character, profound humility, and genuine wisdom that truly draws hearts to the truth. As Jada's life so clearly demonstrated, winning hearts is far more effective than merely winning arguments. This chain reaction of sincere guidance and transformation, as exemplified by a tribal leader who embraced Islam through someone guided by Jada, is a testament to the enduring power of genuine character-based dawah. In an era when many within communities, including the Muslim community, have sometimes drifted away from the noble methods of Quranic dawah, resorting instead to quick judgments, labeling and strife, the stories of Ibrahim and Jada al-Qurani stand as powerful, albeit controversial, forms of leadership. Ibrahim, the humble Turkish shopkeeper, was a leader not through grand speeches or public platforms, but through the sheer, unwavering consistency of his character. His gentle approach, his wisdom shared through a mysterious book, and his profound act of kindness which defied expectations implicitly challenged the idea that religious truth must be aggressively asserted. This quiet, compassionate leadership rooted in embodying Islamic values rather than merely articulating them was in itself controversial, because it was so radically effective yet so unassuming. Jada al-Qurani, having received this profound torch, then became a more public leader in dawah. Yet, his leadership was also controversial precisely because it mirrored Ibrahim's gentle approach. He did not engage in confrontation, but instead chose wisdom and good instruction as his method, as mandated by the Quran. In a world often accustomed to aggressive proselytization or heated debates about religious differences, Jada's method, emphasizing peaceful dialogue and compassionate interaction, stood out as a counter-narrative. His success in converting thousands in Europe and millions in Africa without coercion proved that true influence comes from a place of sincerity and respect, not force or intellectual dominance. These two men led not by commanding but by serving, not by forcing but by inspiring. Their legacy reminds us that our duty is to uphold the principles of wisdom, good advice, and respectful dialogue. In these tumultuous times, when voices of discord threaten to divide us, may we remember the gentle guidance of a Turkish shopkeeper, the transformation of a young Jewish boy, and the ultimate dedication of a true preacher who spent his life spreading the light of the Quran. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next script.